Welcome, everyone. It's great to be back for episode 8. I'm Jodie Fielden, and I'm joined with my work wife, bestie, and business partner, Adri Varga. During these podcasts, we share with you how you can leverage your passion into profit. Whether you're looking to launch into the next phase, take time away from the floor, or you're looking to sell your business and cash out your investment, we've done it all. And we're here to share with you that you can too, because it's time to believe your business can be everything you ever wanted.
That's right, absolutely. Hi, everyone, and welcome back. And today is a carry on from our last episode where we were talking about the iceberg method and how to help business owners leverage their skills and elevate their business into the top 10%.
That's right. And today we're going to be talking about another layer in the business model, like in the iceberg method. Sorry, I'm getting tongue tied already today. So these aren't in any particular order, although each layer is as important as the next.
So, absolutely. And today we will be talking about systems. And I know that it can sound overwhelming, but trust me, by the end of this podcast, you will feel good and maybe even motivated about implementing systems into your salon or studio.
Okay, so the big question is, Audrey, systems, what are they good for in the first place? I'm going to kick off with why do we need systems?
Yeah, so we need systems wherever we are, one person production, or you have a team working for you, because having a system or having systems, they are going to free you from your business eventually. Because what you do with what the systems will do for you, it's going to make sure that nothing is missed and everything is going to be done in the way you want in your business. And this is when you going to have a freedom to step away, and you don't need to worry about that when you are not in the business, is it everything going to be there, going to be done the way you like it.
That's right. There's nothing worse than going out, whether you want to just have the be out of the salon or the studio for a day, or you're going on on holidays. If we don't have systems, everything just always seems to go pear shaped, and you come back and you feel like, why isn't anything done the way I like it done? Like they know how to do this.
Or they should have known, that this is what we normally say, like they should have known by now, like Kate is working for me for 3 years now, like surely they know if this and this happens, this is how we respond. And this is when it comes to us, like we need to be very, very clear about what are our expectations when it comes to different things in our business. And system doesn't need to be that overwhelming. Systems actually can be quite simple and quite easy. And I think the overwhelm comes from when we have these pre-programmed beliefs, that systems needs to be something huge, like it needs to be a manual or it needs to be a booklet. But it's actually not true for businesses like smaller businesses like we have. And, like when it comes to big corporations is a very, very different thing. But this is our belief that, we don't need systems because we are just small.
The corporations work the way they do because they have systems. So we don't need to be as detailed as they are because they have a lot of bureaucracy that they need to cover for. But McDonald's is the perfect example of a corporation that has stood the test of time, and they have systems in place for a reason. And that reason is consistency in the way their managers do things, consistency in the service that the clients and customers receive each and every time. Like, when you go there, how they're going to ask you something, and it's going to be the quality control most of the time is there, and they find it really easy to train people because everyone is trained with the systems, and it's easier for someone else to pick up, I think, if everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And like without systems, I always say, like our team is like free range chickens, like they minding their own business, and when something happens, they will try their very best to find a solution. It's actually two things can come without system, like there is a problem. So firstly, they come to find you to find the answer, which after a while is going to be extremely annoying. I went through that, like when I was looking after clients and team members, they came and knocking on my shoulder, excuse me, I'm so sorry, I just going to be a moment. And like I got upset of them. I didn't really understand, like it's actually not their fault, it's actually my fault. And the other thing is, if you are not there and if they can't reach out to you, they just try to solve the problem the way they think it's the best way to attend that problem. And then you come to the business and they're telling you about what they did, and you are disappointed because they didn't solve the problem the way you wanted. And it is not really fair to accept or expect our team to find out or to figure it out what's in our head or how we want things to be done. They won't remember. We can tell them 10,000s of times, they won't remember. So this is when I say, like the easiest way to start to implement systems, involve your team and create systems together, because that's going to help for them and for you to take ownership of a system.
I think we need to remember when we do have systems is when we're teaching our team and explaining the system to them, that people learn in different ways. Not everyone is going to be able to follow your system just by hearing it or seeing it written down on a piece of paper in a booklet or something like that. And I think you have the perfect example of one of your guys when it came up to tidying up the salon of an afternoon. And it just, I think, how many times you asked him multiple times, like, you see it every day.
Yeah,
Surely
yeah,
you know.
yeah. So that was one of my team member, and it just shows us, like people are learning in different ways. And it was later on when I learned about actually 4 different ways people have they have the representational system. And this is 4 different ways people they absorb information. And he was a typical example for when he had to see it. But it wasn't enough for him that I showed him and explained to him multiple times. I actually ended up taking pictures and putting, almost like a before and after. So before, the way he left it in the salon, I took a picture. And when I fixed it, I took a picture. And the way he left it, I did put a big cross. And the way I wanted, I put a green tick. And I sent it to him. And, it sounds hideous, but it worked. Absolutely worked.
It
So
does. I know.
just
Sometimes we need to break it down, don't we? Sometimes we need to break it down to something as simple as a photo. And I think, we resist going that far because we say, oh, they're not children, I shouldn't have to do this. But it's not about whether they're a child or not. Sometimes they just need to see the picture for it to actually impact, because there's people that are just not spatially aware of things.
Yes, and like it's not right or wrong, like it is just, most people they are pretty good by hearing and seeing things, like it's, or some people, like we call them kinesthetic people, they have to feel it, so they have to do it with you. But sometimes you have to, and this is business ownership and management, when we need to learn how to become business owners. And that's part of leadership, and how to speak their language. And that's very important, because if you just try to speak your own language, you hardly going to match with anyone. And this is what I had to learn, and when we are working through systems with business owners, this is the very first lesson, like what we go through to understand different representational systems, because they actually represent different learning system, the way people they learn and absorb information.
I think it's important not only to create the systems, to make sure the systems are able to be followed by other people, and you're able to teach it. And I think something that you always say about when you're making systems, for those people that they don't let the control freaks, and they're the perfectionists, and I have to do it myself because no one else can do it the way I do it.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens that people resist the idea of the system because they are perfectionists. And I used to be one of those perfectionists, and it doesn't really work out too well a long time. It's very tiring. And most of the time, what you will end up doing everything because you are too impatient to explain, take time to explain and implement systems. You say, I'll just do it. Don't worry about it. I just do it. And you get very impatient with your team members because if they don't get it right away what you want, you just take it back right away and say, you know what, don't worry about it. I'll just do it. And then you are really upset about it, like why Katie or Mary is just not clicking the way, like why they don't do it quickly the way you want to. And that's actually, again, comes back. It's not their problem, it's your problem, and it's your way of running your business. And when you are a perfectionist, I always say, and I experience this on my own field also, like the good thing about being a perfectionist is that you can create perfect systems. You just need to be able to step back once you created that system and let your team to take responsibility. And are they going to make mistakes? Yes, they will. But this is when you're going to go back consistently to the same system and make sure, like they are going to follow the system. Because we can create systems, but if we, as business owners, we are not consistent with the system, then our team going to fall off the wagon too. So it always comes back to us. Many times happens we create systems and then we are the first who actually move away from our own systems, and then our team just going to follow us. So it's a big responsibility. Once we create systems, we have to walk the walk.
Our team and the people that work with us or for us, they end up picking up our bad habits as much as we create these amazing systems and then we start doing little shortcuts, and then they do the little shortcuts, and then we get angry at them because they didn't stick to the system.
Yeah, and it's so true. And this is just self-reflection, isn't it? Like this is that's what we really need to learn. It's to look in the mirror. Whatever problem we have, and one of my coaches, they always showed me, like if we finger point someone, that's your fault. Have a look how many fingers points towards to them and how many fingers points towards to you. You see, like whose fault is this? And that's very, very important, like we need to be able to stop and take a break and have a self-reflection. So my team doesn't do what I want. What is the missing link? Why is it not happening? Am I communicating things right? Am I consistent with my systems? Do we have a system? Because, many times we don't have the system for everything. And it was one of my team members who actually taught me this lesson. I did find it that time extremely annoying because she was that one of those people who always find that little gaps, that little loopholes. And she didn't break any rules because I didn't have rules. She always was just taking advantage of not having rules around things. So what I ended up doing, like whenever she made a mistake, I created a systems around it. And at the end of the day, like we ended up with, full systems in our salon. And, at the end of the day, I have to be thankful for her because without her, like trying to, go around little rules and everything, she just pointed out, like every single time, like where I didn't have any systems around. And as I mentioned before, like involve your team, because once you involve your team, it becomes fun. It's so much more easier than, you sitting in your office at home trying to figure out different systems. And also, like when you just write down system and just give it to your team, this is the system, read it. It's not going to sync that easily. It's not going to sync that well. And sometimes we create systems and sometimes we have to role play those systems. It happened to me when we created our cancellation policy and deposit policy. We created this system and we were making a lot of mistakes in the beginning. And, like we created all these limiting beliefs. And when someone called the salon, we stepped away from the system because we didn't know how to articulate it or how to say it. And then this is when we started to all right, so this doesn't work, let's do some role playing. And role playing helped us really well because we came up with objections, naturally. And those objections we handled straight away. And we said, all right, if the client says this, what we're going to say. And that's how you build systems.
Yeah, and I think systems is the key to if you are wanting to find more time. Everyone says, I don't have enough time. And they generally don't have enough time because they don't have enough systems in place.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. Like once you create systems, suddenly you're going to have a lot of time, and systems and delegations, it's going to come together because um, systems are one thing, but then you're going to realize once you start to implement systems, then you can actually start to delegate things to different team members. And this is when you again start to work towards to freedom and towards to creating more time for yourself.
Yeah, and I think also even when it comes to delegating and things like that, even it transitions through to if you're wanting to sell more services or you're wanting to sell more retail or just the way someone is greeted when they walk into your business, all that is a system and a process.
Yeah, yeah, and just the miniature things, like how to respond when someone opens the door and step into your business. What are we going to do? And that's a system. How are you going to answer to a phone call? What you're going to say? That's a system. How are you going to leave the equipment when the client leaves? That's a system. Like how are you going to clean in the business salon studio, like that's a system. And all these things can be once you write that system down, like sometimes you need to do checklists, sometimes you need to take photographs, but all these systems, they are helping you to actually create more time for yourself as a business owner.
That's right. And even if you're a owner operator, if you don't have what is traditionally thought of as a team, or you have employees, if you think about it, you actually do have team members. So it could be the cleaner coming in. It could be your bookkeeper. It could be your husband that comes in, or partner or wife, whoever that comes in and helps, or they do a few little roles for you. They need to have a system to be able to follow and for you to keep track of what you're doing. Because if you don't have a system in place for you to say, track your budget or track your numbers, then you're going to be, like Adriana said, a solo headless chook.
Yeah, yes, absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. And you just pointed out, like systems are multiple level systems which are for the whole business and involving your teams. And then you have your own systems, how you run your business, which is knowing all your important informations, KPIs, and everything else, which is going to help you to understand your business and grow your business.
Yeah, and like I think you said earlier, a system is also a routine, like the own routine that you have. So if you can create a consistent routine for each level of your business, then I guess that's less overwhelming if you're thinking about, I'm creating a routine for this,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
for this to happen, and then because I feel like it's the word systems is overwhelming in itself because it makes my little brain shut down. You tell me to even our stuff here, you're like, okay, we need to create a system for this, and my little brain goes, I can't do it. You do it. So I guess a good takeaway is if you're not good at systems like myself, find a friend who is, or find
Yes,
someone that
yes.
works with that's good at it.
Yes, absolutely. And like my way was to step over overwhelm is really to involve my team and not to think so far ahead when I was believing that I have to create a whole manual For me, it was like, no, I don't need, I'm not a corporation, I'm not a corporate, like I don't need to have that systems. We just need to know how we do things. And it can be just a note, say in the bathroom, that please, whatever, like how to wash, I don't know, balls or brushes or
or
whatever.
towels or yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was very helpful for me because I didn't have to figure it out on my own. Because in the beginning, with my perfectionist mind, I said, if I create really good system, very detailed, I give it to them and they will be fine. And they are actually not. And I spent so much time to sit down in my office, agonizing on, like how to say this, what to put down into the system. I spent hours and hours, and then they delivered to my team and it didn't work. And when I started to think about, all right, so this one doesn't work, like, what do I need to do? And this is when I started to realize I might be the problem. I might need to step away from perfection, and maybe I'm overwhelming my poor team, like with all these details because I'm such a detailed person. And maybe when I give them, they are just like far out, like especially because hair and wellness industry, we are very creative people. And, all the details are actually, like overwhelm us and confuse us. So then I said, all right, let's try to find out, like if I'm not creating the systems on my own, would my team respond better? And then we had a team meeting and I said, look, guys, I was thinking about, like, how about if we start to create systems together? Because we definitely know we have, little gaps here and there. And I would like us together to come up with a solution. So it's going to be easy for all of us, to follow those systems. And my team was very, very welcoming to the idea. And it's, suddenly it's just started to work.
Yeah. And generally it'll be a really good starting place is the one thing that everyone is struggling with or getting annoyed with, or, you can see that there's a problem. So getting the team together to sit down and go, okay, well, let's find the system or the solution that we can all agree with. And I think once they agree to having the input, they are more agreeable to following it instead of being told what they have to do.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. So I tried both, and you're absolutely right. So what you were saying, that's the easiest way to make it to work. Yeah, to involve them, and then they can own the whole system.
Yeah, exactly. And then if it's not working for them or they're not following it, it's like, well, okay, what do we need to change so that you can? I actually even do it with Harper now, like her
Yeah,
morning routine. I'm like, all right, so this isn't working. What can I do to help you to make sure it is going to work?
yeah,
I haven't
yeah,
found
yeah,
anything except for maybe chocolate for her, but
yeah, yeah.
oh dear, dear.
So
But
it's yeah.
no, what were you going to say?
But I actually, it slipped my mind. But I think I just wanted to say, like it's always systems, implementing systems, and then reflection, implementing and reflection, and just accept it. Like once you come up with a system, you might need to change it. But then, like if you need to change it, you just change it. Like system doesn't need to be that extremely serious. It's not like written in stone, and then we won't be able to change it. We actually try different ways, and if what we came up with it doesn't work, then we just come up with another way. But it makes it so much more easier when you are not alone to creating these systems. It's actually so much more fun to create system with your team. I know how overwhelmed I felt about when I was on my own, and also I hated it because I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's Monday morning, 9 o'clock. I booked in my calendar that Adri will, create 3 systems around this and this and this. And I was already overwhelmed. So it's so much more fun when you have your weekly team meetings and then you use that time to create systems.
Yeah. And look, systems are the gateway to delegation. And I am the queen delegator. Just ask Graham, my husband. He knows that I delegate to Adriana. I delegate a lot because it creates more time. And speaking of
Yes.
time, we're out of time for today, but I do like a good delegation.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes, like we need to find the balance, like not to delegate too much or to delegate, to just to spread it, a little bit.
Yeah, I'm working towards being a better delegator.
Yeah,
In
fantastic. That's really, really
Is
good.
that the
Yeah.
right language?
Yeah, that's the
All
right
right. Well, we're
language.
out
Yeah,
of
working for
it
myself.
is.
Yeah,
Well, we're
yeah,
running out
yeah.
of time today, so we're going
Yes,
to have
yes.
just having a look. What actually that leads us on to our uh, thing for next. I can't even speak today. Do you know what? You guys will laugh. Before we started this episode, we had the morning from nightmare. We had no internet connection. The microphones kept going. Adriana doesn't have a headset on because her headset was making me sound like a chipmunk on crack. So,
Yeah.
so it's been all over the place. But we are going to be talking about. We're going to continue with the 7 layers, and next week, what are we going to talk about next episode, Adri?
The next episode, we are going to talk about. Oh my God! I
Mindset.
actually.
Transition. I know.
Mindset.
I
Yes,
know. I know.
my mom.
It's all right. It's transitioning your mindset. So we're both losing our mind today. So it's going to be transitioning your mindset from a skilled professional who owns a business to a business owner who's a skilled professional.
Yeah, yeah, and that's going to be a very, very interesting subject. Yeah.
I know. And it's also going to be a good insight into how we're helping business owners over the next 12 months, salon and studio owners, to level up to our 10% club.
Yeah, and you may remember if you were or if you were here at the last episode that this is our club for all the business owners we have become 10%, the top 10% earner in our industry.
Yeah, look, if you're ready to either level up or cash out, or you'd like to learn more about our signature growth techniques and winning formulas, jump onto our website www.focusgdt.com and register there. You need to be quick though, because Adri's current training, the timer runs out and it'll revert to $97. So if you're quick, you can grab it for free.
Absolutely. And also don't forget about the quizzes. We have two separate quizzes, one for salon owners. It's called Mastering Salon Excellence. When you take the quiz, you will reveal your signature growth formula and receive also a personalized salon success quiz report, which is very unique to you. And for salon owners, it's called Elevating Your Studio. And when you take that quiz, you will learn the secret to turning your passion into prosperity and receive your personalized studio success quiz report too.
Okay, well, that's us. We're going to see you next episode. And remember to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Now, I always say this bit wrong, but the handle is at FocusGDT. And I always go to say the .com. It's not, it's at FocusGDT. So you can find us on Instagram and Facebook and follow us there. Subscribe on YouTube. And where else? Oh, we're on all the major platforms now too with our.
Yes.
So you can catch us there as well. All right. Have a great time and we will see you next. All right.
All right. I hope you have fun, guys.
We're going to
And we will
sign
see
this
you
one.
next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye bye.